Joe in real life. So last night, after work, I worked 12 hours, and I was just feeling like antsy and screwy in my skin, and anyway, it was 10 or 11 at night, and I went out and I ran 4 miles. It was nice and cool at that point, mid 80s, I think, which probably doesn't sound that cool, but it was really cool for here. And I had a beautiful run, and it felt amazing, and then I slept like a god. But I am so sore today. I am so sore, and I know I'm a broken record with this shit, but here's the thing. I'm not sore from the run. Not even a little. I'm sore from the pull-ups. And that's ridiculous. Like, I didn't do anywhere near enough pull-ups to be sore. I did half the amount of pull-ups I needed to do to get sore. And this sore, maybe like a third. But I'm destroyed with soreness. Just destroyed. And I think it's the running that did it. I think that even though I'm not sore from running, well, a little bit in my tibs, I think it ate up all my recovery points, and I got zapped on the pull-ups, which seems crazy to me. I don't think it should work that way. I feel like my body should prioritize better than that. But whatever, Also, this is pretty cool. Typically, my resting heart rate is in the low 50s or 50. And the last 3 or 4 days, I've been 46, 47. So the adaptation from the hard cardio is working. Kind of working too well. Or it's working in a way that I'm getting suspicious, I'll drop a couple points every now and again, especially when I dial in my, my cardio work. But it never really lasts. This is like a 10% drop, close to 10%. And it seems to be staying. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think the heat is culprit. I think the bonus work is culprit. I think the higher heart rate work certainly makes an interesting case. Despite being just in unbearable pain right now, I am happy. It's nice to have my fire. I'm very stoked to have a deload week next week. I'm really gonna chill hard. I'm gonna diet real clean next week too. I'm gonna eat a lot of food, but clean food, and try to reestablish my baseline, It's nice to feel the fire again. It really is. And, it certainly sounds like I'm complaining, even to me, but I'm honestly not complaining. I feel like I'm in a good rhythm that makes sense. And, yeah, it's just a little confusing. That's all. What else? See this cool stump? Look at that thing. That's where I rest my coffee cup. It's got a little nook. Maybe that's it. I think I'm going to do some muscle snatches today, some overhead squats, some front squats, and I don't know. I'm going to do my minimum, but I'm going to ask the body what it has to give, and if it says, dude, cut that shit out, I'm going to cut that shit out. Also, I walked, my Fitbit says I was on my feet 35,000 steps yesterday. I think that's 17, 18 miles by my stride length. So, a big day on the old feet. Like I said earlier, I have some tib pain, some ankle pain, some inner arch pain. But that's not confusing to me at all. Like, I know exactly why that happened. Also, I wasn't scheduled to do a run yesterday. It's not part of my running plan. I needed to do one. And I both take that as a really good sign and a pretty bad one. Weigh in on that. If you got thoughts on that, weigh in on that, please. I find it encouraging that I just like, I got home, I was frustrated, I was dirty, and I was like, you know what else is frustrating and makes you dirty? Taking a little run, buddy. And you take a little run, your brain's going to feel better. So it did. And it worked. Why don't we stop there? Why don't we cut this shit out? Stay tuned. Let's do some muscle snatches. I never do a muscle snatch. I think it'll be fun. All right. In some ways, today felt like an old school workout for me. And by like old school, I mean when I first started this channel, which was actually more like 500 days ago. Because those of you who are relatively new, I had a relapse. I relapsed on alcohol, and it broke my first streak. Now, my first streak was a garbage streak anyway. I was using any squat variation to count as a squat, whereas this streak, thanks to the suggestion of a few viewers, I've managed to stay more or less consistent with back squat and front squat. There's been some play, especially in the first 100 days, but generally speaking, I've hit my daily minimum every day. Today's workout, I was in my garage for 2 hours. I maybe did 50 total reps of actual work. Just lazy, just slow, but also having fun and enjoying listening to my music and being in my garage and just doing this stuff, just feeling my body and thinking about the problems, trying to listen for the questions it's asking and answering them as best I can, and negotiating with a fatigue that at first feels unnegotiable, and then slowly, as you're patient, as you're both intense but careful, reveals. It will give you little hints, little secrets, allow you certain things that it wouldn't in the beginning. And it was really nice. I had a really good time. I'm doing muscle snatches and I'm doing them badly. So that's, for those of you who don't know, that's basically a snatch, overhead, without a dip. So you don't dip under the bar and you don't jump. You just try and get the weight overhead. And I'm doing it in kind of a screwy way to get sort of forward fold in the process. You don't need to do that. That's for my own reasons. I was feeling kind of junky in my hips, in my glutes, in my hams. And I just wanted to feel that, That's not really how the lift's done. This is not instructional, right? I mean, I suppose you could use it as an instructional video, but I don't know why you'd want to. I'm relatively confident that you're a better lifter than me. Whoever you might be watching this. So, follow my lead with caution. And I'm doing ab rolls out, just 2 reps. These fried me last time, so I'm being a little conservative. And mostly this is just to keep my guts tight, to stay strong through the center, the obliques, the erectors, the abdominals. And yeah, I worked up to just 100 pounds muscle snatch and then moved into my front squat. And in my front squat, I hit 170, and I hit it pretty easily. I think it might be time to max out this lift. Now, I don't know that I'll do it this week, but I'm feeling pretty confident that I've got a 200-pound front squat. And that would be cool. I mean, 6 months ago, that was like a long-term goal for me, up and down the front rack, 200 pounds. And I maxed at 185. I might have hit 190 or I might have failed at 190, but it was close. I know I haven't done 200. And, I can check the record books and find out, but I'm pretty sure my max is body weight, 185. I'm a little dumpy right now, so I'm a little heavier than that, but I'm essentially, my comfortable walking around weight is 185. So if I could hit 200, that'd be awesome. And like I said, if there, but it's a qualified if. Like I definitely can, definitely. Also, I'm really digging these overhead squats. Like they prime you for the front squat super, super well. My front rack position felt incredibly comfortable. Some of that's contrast because the overhead squat position feels unbearable. And you know, I know some people do this movement a lot, and I'm quite confident it releases over time. But like, you know, I know a few weightlifters, IRL, and none of them like that position, you know, and like they do it all the time. So it might just be it's a disagreeable shape. Interestingly, I am bowing a little too much, which is kind of weird because in my other squat variations, I lean too much. And on the overhead, I'm bowing too much. Now I bow to pitch forward. Like I'm kind of using my mobility advantage so that I can get like a deeper angle in my actual squat so that, you know, I can move the weight successfully. I'd like to straighten the back out a little bit. I'd like, you know, I feel like I have a crescent moon spine in the overhead squat, and I'd like to take just some of the arc out of that. Not a lot. And as nitpicks go, it's not too serious. If it never happens, I don't give a shit. Like, these muscle snatches feel really good too. It's weird trying to generate momentum without a jump or a dip. And I do like how that feels. I think it's a really, really fun variation, and it's definitely going to stay in the rotation. I'm not super interested in the Olympic lifts. I like visiting them from time to time because I think they're a good strength test. Like if you don't power clean very often, then the power clean is going to be a pretty accurate test of how strong you are because you haven't developed the skill, you know? Now, you got to practice it a little bit, right? Like you can't, it's not super technical, but it's technical enough that you don't just want to jump in without any preparation. You could definitely hurt yourself. I mean, especially wrists and elbows, posterior delts, whatnot. But that said, if you've got like a working understanding of the movement and you do it like say once every 2 or 3 months or so, or even once a month, you know, you're going to have a really accurate gauge of your explosive power. And I mean, who doesn't need that, right? Like, you can of course use other movements, but like we tend to tread on those other movements more regularly, and then you get that neurological adaptation, and it's not so much a test of raw power. I haven't done power cleans in a minute because of my elbow tendonitis, but probably that should make it back into the rotation. Also, you're going to like this. For my elbow tendonitis, I've just decided to ignore it. That's my big epiphany. And like, I was thinking about it yesterday and just kind of indulging self-pity. And then it occurred to me that it's just not that serious, that it hurts a little bit, but overall, maybe it's not getting better, but it isn't getting any worse. And maybe if you just ignore it, it'll go away. Within reason, of course. Like, you know, I'm not gonna do all this fucking cuckoo arm extension stuff, elbow extension stuff. But like probably it's just gonna heal on its own. And there's nothing I can really do about it, you know? I have followed the usual regimens of like wrist curls and whatnot, and I get some relief, but honestly, that could be placebo too. At the end of this, I do a little goofy move where I practice some side bending with just the 45-pound bar. I'm going to tag that into the bonus features. I also created a YouTube short for it. But that was just silly stuff. I was just playing. It's not really worth thinking about or doing anything with. I just needed a little stretch. I needed to feel a little less gunked up in my old man joints. Where are we? I think this is the 170. Yeah, it is. So, all right, I'm gonna watch this for the first time, same as you. And it felt really good. It felt super clean, but sometimes the video reveals stuff. Yeah, I just a tiny pitch forward, but as expected. I'm very happy with that lift. Yeah, man, I've got 200 no problem. Like, I should have went for it today. I do have front squats tomorrow though, so I guess. And this is the goofball stuff right here. I almost shattered my fluorescence, and the bar did hit my rack. So a little annoying, but I'm just playing here, you know. I'm just doing some side bends. And a little one arm extension overhead squat. But anyway, this is Joe in real life. I love you guys. Be good to each other today. Be kind as best you can, you know. People struggle. It's a reoccurring theme here. Everyone's struggling. Everyone's keeping secrets. It costs you very little to be nice. And I'll see you tomorrow, you know. And yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. I'm kind of struggling for words.